Hello, hello. Okay, just setting up everything. Welcome, welcome. So, in today's live stream, we're basically going to go through a couple of product updates, and then I am going to preview a kit, and you'll be able to use that kit. I'll basically go over how it's set up, what to do, how to use it. And yeah, it's specifically for lead tracking. So, if you are doing any sort of sales, whether you're in marketing or uh, you're managing your own sales or whatever it is, you'll be able to use this kit. And I'm going to pop up this chat. Yay, just what I need help with, of course. And then good evening, Narek. Yeah, good evening to you too. It's very rainy in LA here, so make sure to stay warm. This is going to be the kit. And once let me check something else. Yep. Good evening. Hello, hello. So yeah, I think what I can do is I'm just gonna share my screen and then we'll just kind of hop into it. And yeah, I'll just go over what we updated and what is new. And yeah, so let's hop right into it. Okay, it is very freezing here. Yeah, I don't know where all this rain in LA just started coming from, but off to a very rainy February 13. So okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Rushed home to catch this. Yeah, definitely glad that you joined as well. So, all right, let's. I'm actually switch around my windows, working on that dual monitor. So yeah, okay. For starters, one thing that we have recently added is if you go into any one of your projects, let's say you have this, and you run an agent command. So I don't know, like if I do something like identify target audience, usually when we run these commands, what ends up happening is it'll go through, it'll do it right, and you could do multiple, by the way. So if I run identify stakeholders, whatever it is, right? And then let's say I switch to list view. If this works, I like it, I insert it, and then let's say I go back and I archive any of these commands. Well, there's kind of no way for you to actually like see where it happened or an easy way for you to actually go through it. So what we've done is we have actually created AI history. So you'll be able to actually preview everything that was created by AI in your project. So you can open this up and it'll be there again if you wanted to replace it or change it up, whatever you wanted to do. So all you have to do is go to the project history at the top icon and then choose the AI history tab. And from here, you'll be able to access any of the modifications and it will take you directly to the node that was modified. And then from here, you can insert it, replace it, whatever you want. So just a quick way that if you archive anything, you can quickly open it up again and then see what it was changed and what was added as well. So that's one quick update. Another one is agent tool output. And you'll be seeing me using a lot of these updates in the most recent kit. But essentially, you have whenever you create an agent tool for any of these, let's say I'm going to use this. If I do agent tool as the trigger, you can configure an output. And over here, you can define what the agent should essentially take or bring back into the prompt itself. So whenever you prompt an agent triggers this workflow. Then from here, you can configure what it should respond back into the chat with after it's done with this workflow. So that's another quick quality of life update. The other thing that we have is any of these custom fields and dropdowns for filters are now supported as well. So for example, let me see if I actually have a project in this one. Let me choose this. I'm going to change this. Let's say you have a task that's completed, and I'm going to choose, yeah, let's say I have a task that's completed. If I have, sorry, let me choose a project that I know has specific custom fields. So we'll go here. Okay, like this one has a custom field, right? And this one has a status custom field. What I can do is I can go back to my automations over here. And essentially, before, if you wanted to do any sort of comparisons or filters, so like you only wanted this to occur when this has a specific status, let's say, what you would have to do is you would have to do like, I'm gonna choose a different node here actually. So like when a custom field is updated in my course creation to-do list, I can basically say I want the status field to match a certain status over here. And basically what this allows you to do is you can now, instead of having to type out the options, you can quickly select the options from here directly. So kind of a small quality of life update, but it's very useful and I'm very thankful for it because I had to build a whole bunch of these today. So it saved me a lot of typing. And yeah, let's see. The other thing that we have also added for automations is when you have a form. So let's say I'm going to close this. Let's say I have a contact form like this with these fields, whatever it is. You can actually customize the end message as well. So now if I did something like, thank you for submitting this form, we'll reach out to you in 48 hours. I can do save changes. If I go here, okay, that's kind of long. So I'm going to delete some of these fields. So we're just going to delete some of these because save time. Anyway, save changes. Nothing crazy going on here. Yep. All right. Let's say I submit my name here. Once it finishes processing, they'll see this custom message that I had from before. So you can customize this form message and yeah, just a quick quality of life update there. And now I think last thing that I can show you is if we go to kits, when you're sharing this, so if I open this kit over here, you can now preview what's inside of a kit. So for the kits that we're creating, basically what we do is we add a project called a kit quick start guide. In the future, this might change, but right now we add this. And this kind of gives you an overall view of what's inside of the kit, how to use it, like the purpose of it, who is it for, and all of the information, right? Like how to get started with it. But you can also preview automations. So for example, this is one automation on the side. This is one of the agents. You can see what knowledge it has. If I look at the project, you'll see specific sections. and other information in the kit as well. That way, you can actually see what's inside of it before you decide to commit and download the kit. So, okay. So, that being said, this is what the kit is actually going to be focused on, automating sales and tracking leads in Taskade. And I think what I'm going to do, by the way, for everyone that's following along, definitely go to this link here. I know that's a bit like long, but yeah, so follow along with this kit. We'll be posting most of these kits on a single kit page, similar to how we have templates and agents and all that stuff on Taskade's direct website. So then you'll be able to actually reference them and download them whenever you need. So I am going to show you how to use this kit. And when you go here, oops, let's close that. So when we first view it over here, you're going to press add to workspace, and then you'll choose whichever workspace you want. When you choose whichever workspace you want, you'll be able to, actually, let's do this directly. So I'm just going to go over everything here, but okay, let's do this. So I'm going to create a new workspace. We'll do, or a new folder actually. We'll call this the lead tracking kit. The reason why I'm going to do that is because I want to show you guys how to use it from literally like if you were a new user. So let's say I'm gonna close this, go back here. Okay, let's open this kit over here. Let's say this is my kit and I want to download it. You want to follow along, you can just do add to workspace, and then I'm going to choose the folder that I want to add it to. So in this case, it's the lead tracking kit folder. And then you'll see it added all of this stuff here. Then I'm going to open this space up. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the projects tab, and I'm going to look at my kit quick start guide. And I'm actually going to pin this up here, and I'm going to pin this leads project as well. Let's change this to this. For leads, I'm going to just add this icon here, and then we'll put this for agent knowledge. You're going to first open this kit quick start guide. This is a Help Center article. This is a link to a Help Center article that basically tells you about what kits are. But I'm going to give you a workflow of how this entire thing works. So in it, you have a form where people will submit for requesting a demo. When they submit that form, you'll have the new lead from that form submission added to a leads project. Then, when a lead is assigned to your sales rep, you'll have that automatically update the status. And then, once the sales rep contacts a lead and sets a new date to follow up with that lead, you'll see that updated as well. When the due date is due, you'll see the lead move from contacted into follow up needed. So, kind of like a snoozing mechanism. And then if someone schedules a call on Calendly, it'll automatically update the status of that lead to demo scheduled. If the lead cancels the call on Calendly, it'll automatically change the status to follow up needed for the sales rep to follow up. Because if someone cancels on you, you kind of want to follow up with them and see, hey, like, do you want another call? Is it a better time? Whatever it is, right? And then after a lead converts, the sales rep will mark it as completed. Lead status will update to 1. And then every week, you'll receive a report with the leads that were converted from last week. And then for the leads that went cold, you should draft a product update or any sort of like follow up update. So let's say you release a product update, you want to contact them later on, you can do that through this. And then you'll give it to your AI agent with a specific tool. Tools right now aren't supported for kits, but that's something that we're actively working on. And so we'll be able to add these as well. And then throughout the week, you can look for status updates on a specific lead using the lead status report for agent tools. And so now I'm just going to go over this entire flow from start to finish, and you'll kind of visualize how it goes. So I'm going to close this, close that. Let's refresh this. There we go. Okay. So first things first, we're going to go to automations, and then you are going to go down to hide that. Oh, did it not follow through? Mm, that's interesting. Okay, so the kit that I downloaded is actually from this workspace. My bad. Basically, when you first open it up, you'll see this quick start guide, review that. And then the other aspect is you're going to first go to automations and you're going to scroll all the way down to where it says request a demo for the automation that's titled request a demo. This is your form. So this form is essentially what's going to feed your leads. And I'm actually going to open up the leads project as well. So you guys can kind of see how it goes. And I'm going to delete this lead because that's what I'm going to do. But basically, in this leads project, this is where all of them are going to be. You have different sections. So it's a new lead, it's assigned to someone, contacted, follow up needed, demo scheduled, or won or lost, or it went cold. You have different sections, and those are tied to these status fields over here. You also have a lead score, and you have additional fields like company size, role in company, their use case, timeline, due date, and additional comments. Now, whenever someone submits a form from here, you'll have it automatically. When someone submits a form from here, you'll have it automatically shared and added to this leads project over here. Oops, this is getting annoying. Okay, let's see if I can manage to do this without it having to automatically run into issues there. Okay, cool. We got it to switch around. All right. So we're going to write my name and then I'm just going to put consultant and I'm just going to put random things actually. I was trying it out with different things. But let's say I say, I'm ready to purchase. Please let me know how to go about that. So once a lead actually submits your form over here, so they put this, they put their information here, phone number, whatever it is, right? Company name, consultant. They fill out all these fields. When they submit it, it should be adding it automatically to the new lead section right here. So you see new leads, new leads, and then afterwards from here, you'll see it took all the form fields and it properly added them over here. So we're just going to go with this information here. And then I also have this message right here. But now you see how this form interacts with that leads project. And now I'm going to explain how the form actually works. So from there, if you want to customize it, you can understand what to change and how it's going to impact everything. So what I've done is I basically have a sales representative agent score the leads using the MQL, SAL, and SQL framework, basically. And it's using the BANT qualification framework, which is budget, authority, needs, and timeline. So depending on the question answers, so if someone says budget for their authority, what is your role in the company? Can they do they have decision making power, their need or their use case? And then the timeline, right? So what's your timeline for making a purchase decision? It'll use that information to actually give it a lead score. And then the lead score, if it matches MQL, then it's going to run through this path. So for marketing qualified leads, which are basically like someone's interest may potentially be interested in your product, like they've submitted something for a webinar or they've registered for something like that. Like they're aware of your company. You might have a specific workflow. Right now, this just adds it as a task. For sales, accepted leads, these are ones that are basically interested in doing a demo and they are ready for entering the sales process, right? You might want to add a task and actually draft an email. So you can customize this even more to whatever you need. And then if it's a sales qualified lead, you might want to customize it even more. So that's what branches and paths allow you to do. But basically, depending on what the AI agent over here scores, it dictates how it flows through the project. So what this is doing is it's automatically adding all of the fields from the form and it's giving the lead score over here, which is then reflected in this project over here. So you'll obviously need to tailor the scoring criteria for your business and for your use case, but essentially that's how this would work. And now they've submitted the form, you have a new lead over here, right? In this process, you basically have another automation that handles the different workflows for that lead. So I'll show you that right now. The idea here is that you have a new lead coming in. You want to assign it to a team member. Right now, I'm the only individual here. I assign it to myself. It'll automatically change the status to assign and then move it to the right section. And then once it's assigned, if someone contacts someone, right? If I say, you know what, I contacted them, the way due dates work in tandem with these statuses is that if you set a due date, it's kind of like when should I follow up? So let's say I contacted them today. I want to follow up with them on Monday. So if I put Monday at 9 a.m. and I press save, I added a due date and this should change to contacted. Oh, wait, did I enable the automation? Let me go back here. hmm Yep, this is active. So I set a due date here. Let me remove this. Oops. Let's remove that. There we go. So I think I just had to visit the automation once. But essentially, it'll change the status to contacted. And then what will happen is once this date passes, so let's say it's like 10th, once it's the 10th, what will happen is this will change to follow up needed. And then from here, let's say you basically would just get up in the morning, you would look at which one of these need follow ups. So if this one is also on like 9 a.m., if you want these to be followed up with, yeah, see, it would just go back to contacted because this thing. But essentially, once these are changed to this time or time in the future, I'm like zoomed in so it's easier for everyone else to see, but it's like giving me issues with adding this. Let's go back a little bit so I can edit this. So yeah, the idea is that this will change to contacted and basically you contact until these are followed up with. Just going to remove that. And we're just going to add it to 9 a.m. Save. So yeah. And then you just keep doing that. So once this actually passes, what ends up happening is it goes back into follow up needed. And then let's say if someone schedules a call on Calendly, it will automatically find it and match it with their email. And then afterwards, change this to demo scheduled. And then once a demo is scheduled, you can set again due dates for when you're going to follow up or when you contacted them, and it will move them back into contacted until that due date comes up again. Then it will be follow up needed, follow up, change it. You kind of get the point. Now, the cool part is whenever you mark something as done, so let's say I'm going to move these to follow up needed. If you convert a lead, I'm going to remove that. So if you convert a lead, all you have to do is just mark it as completed, and then it will move it to the one section like that. So that way, you know you converted this lead, and we'll do that with this one as well. And essentially, that's the way you can work around this project. You can also view it in board view if it's easier for you. So seeing like what you won, what lost. This is easier for like some people that like to see stages like this. I like table view only because it's much easier to see some of the custom columns and also the other data that's available here. So I'm going to go back here. And what's managing all of those movements to different sections is this automation called move leads to the correct section based on lead status. And it's kind of straightforward. I know this kind of looks intimidating at first, but it's really not that bad. Essentially, you're looking at a trigger that says when a task's custom field is updated in this leads project, and we're looking at the status. I want you to see if the status is equal to new lead. If it is, move it to the leads column. If it's equal to assigned, move it to the assigned column. If it's contacted, then move it to that specific column. And then it does that. Then you have this additional section, which basically says if it's lost or it went cold, move it to these individual columns as well. And branching you have to have a default. So you can have 6 conditions, and one of those, well, you can have a total of 7 paths, which are like 7 scenarios, but 6 of those can have custom conditions. And one of those is a fallback, which means like if none of these conditions are met, so if it's not new lead assigned, contacted, won, or demo scheduled, follow up needed, if it's not one of those lead statuses, then do this path. And so you can do that, add additional ones by adding another path. So like lost, one cold, and then that will move it to their correct sections as well. And then for the assignments and completed ones, so whenever I mark a lead as completed over here, and it moves it to this one section. The way that works is essentially I have a task completed trigger in my leads project. I'm going to save changes here. And I'm basically saying update the custom field to the one. And the cool part about custom fields and automations is that changing the status over here can trigger another automation that looks at whether the status is changed to this specific one. So because this was changed to 1, it's going to trigger this automation that moves a lead based on the status field changing to 1. So it's a good way for you to chain some of these automations as well. And the same thing happens with when a lead is assigned and when Calendly call is booked and when Calendly call is canceled as well. So, and I'm going to go through, I think I have like 6 more automations, so bear with me here. Essentially, there's also the leads follow up one. Basically, we're treating due dates as a way for you to keep on top of like when you have to follow up with a lead. So when a due date is due for a specific lead, or in this case, a task, same thing. When the due date is due, I want you to update it to follow up needed. That way, my team knows, hey, due date is due for this, you need to follow up with it. And then once they follow up, they can remove the due date, add a new one, and then that will change it to contacted. So, for example, this one, right? Oh, not this one. My bad. Uh, yeah, this one. So basically, over here, when I set a new due date, what I want you to do is update the status to contacted, right? So I have to follow up with this one. I contacted them. I come back here and I say, you know what? I'm gonna follow up with them on the 17th. If I do that, press save. What this is going to do is it's going to change it to contacted. And then another automation is going to trigger that moves anything that has the contacted lead status up to the contacted section. And then we can just remove that date. I'm just going to put this back to follow up needed. And this will move it back down here. So move. Let's go back. There we go. So I'm going to go back here. And it's the same for assign, right? You really aren't going to run into this assignment one as much. It's basically you assign it once and then it's just going to update from there, right? So if it's a new lead over here, I assign it to someone, which is myself. If I assign it to myself over here, and then you know what, I reached out to them, I'm gonna follow up with them 2 days from now, put it on Saturday. We'll do save. You'll see it automatically change to contacted, meaning like you can relax, contacted, and then you'll follow up with them once this is due. So then from here, go back here. The other thing that you would need to do, these are if you're using Calendly specifically, you'll need to connect your Calendly account. And then this will actually be able to update your information using these fields in the lead project. So, for example, you can choose whenever it's event is scheduled. What I want to do is find the lead in this project by their email address. And I want to make sure that email address matches the one that they use to sign up for the Calendly event. And then when it matches it up, I want to update the lead status to demo scheduled because it makes sense, right? You book the call on Calendly. I want you to find the same person that booked that call on Calendly in my leads project over here. And then I just want you to update it to demo scheduled. And then same thing happens with canceled. So I'm basically saying whenever an event is canceled, I want you to find the lead in this specific project by their email address. And then I want you to update the lead status to follow up needed. And you can add a custom status here too if you wanted to, like no show or canceled event, like whatever it is. You can customize these workflows yourself, but you would still need to connect your Calendly and then turn it on if you wanted to use this. And then the cool part is that you can actually create a weekly report, and you just need to enable this and connect your Gmail if you want to receive emails for it. But basically, I could say every week, let's say Monday at 11 p.m. in Los Angeles, I want you to find the leads that all have tasks completed at. So they were basically marked as completed right here. So you can see it says completed by today. And like this is a cool trick. Basically, if you click on the 6 dots next to the node or lead, you'll see it says drag to move or click to open. If you click on that and you go down, if you hover over this, it'll tell you when it was completed by. But essentially, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find all the tasks that were completed last week. And so, what we're going to do for that is we're going to look at the tasks that were completed before. So, whenever this automation is going to run, you can actually reference the trigger time. So, we're going to look at the tasks that were completed at that come before when this automation runs, and they were completed at, it comes after, the same trigger time, but minus 1 week. So we've kind of created a range, right? You have the before, so it happened right before the automation ran, and before the automation ran, 1 week before, within that 1 week time frame. And we're going to make sure the status matches one because we just want to find the ones that are completed and have that one status. What that's going to do is it's going to give you this array. An array is basically a list of items. And then we're going to change that into an email format. So where it says transform array into string, that's a more technical way. I like to think of it as convert list of leads converted or leads one to email format. That's how you can think of this this step. And this is going to give you a preview of what it looks like for each one. So if you had three of them, you would have like lead, let's say Narek, lead John, and then lead like Jimmy, like whatever it is. So, and then they would have their status for each one and then a link to that task as well. Then it's going to send it to email. Make sure you put in your email fields and everything over here. And it's just going to say here are the leads that were converted last week. And this kind of gives you a report. And then, yeah, I'm going to save changes here, go back. And then we also have two tools essentially. So you have your AI agent over here, my sales rep. I'm going to go to this rep over here, and then I'm going to add tools. And I already have the lead status report one enabled, but I'm going to remove this. And actually, I'm going to add it just so you would pull it from that list. You can do manual approval or automatic approval. But essentially what that does is go back here. What this is going to do is you provide it with an email address for it to search. And what it's going to do is it's going to find an email in Gmail that has the from that user. So that email address, right? So if it's narek at taskade.com, it's going to search my Gmail for emails from narek at taskade.com. And then it's also going to find the lead in the project with that email address. And then it's going to take the date of that email received. It's going to convert it to like a normal format. And then it's going to pipe it back into my automation. My agent chat. And it's going to follow this format. So that's just explaining what the automation does. I like to see things visually. So basically, when you run a lead status report, this is the report that you get. So I said something like, give me a lead status report for the lead, and then I get taskade.com. And what it does is said, here's the status report. This is the lead status. So it's a new lead score, sales qualified lead, role, lead. I think I put something random here. And then company size, last email from the lead. You can put more information here as well, but the last email, it has the email date right here, has the example of this is the subject line that I had. And then it also pulls the email body. So it says, hi there, all of this text is from the email. You'll be able to find the latest email that was sent to the lead from your team and compare that with the status of that lead. So you can see what the final conversation you had before and then reference it as context for a follow-up. I hope you like this example. And then this is my signature and stuff. So yeah, now what you can do is you can actually reference this within the chat and say, you know what, this was the last message I received from them. Generate a response for this, right? This was the last message I received. Generate a follow-up. And it will now reference that email within your response as well. So it's a really good way for you to kind of get like status updates on individual leads, but also tying it back into using the platform even further. And the final part of this is re-engaging leads that went cold. So let's say you talk to a few leads, whatever, you schedule the call or whatever it is, but they're not responding anymore. Typically, what you want to do is you also want to follow up with them, right? You want to give them updates. You want to have a reason to re engage with them. And the way you would do that is you would enable this agent tool. And this says product update. You can generalize it to whatever it is. It could be like a new service offering, it could be really anything. So you can generalize this and call it just update. And what this is going to do is essentially it's going to find the the leads actually in your project that all have the status of went cold. So right now I just have this Daniel Anderson with the status went cold. So it would find just that. And then for each one of those status leads that it finds, it's going to search for the last email from that lead. And then it's going to ask the agent, here's a recent product update that we had. Could be anything really. Draft an email to re engage the lead based on the last conversation. Here's the conversation. And then it's going to output an email draft. And then you can literally just fill out the fields again and then throw in the email message ID. So this basically references that same thread. And then it will send an email. And then once it does that, what you want to do is you want to convert all of the leads that were re-engaged. This creates a draft, by the way. So you just go open it up, open your drafts in Gmail, review it, like it, send it. If you don't like it, edit it, change whatever you need. And then after it does that for each one of them, what we want to do is we want to convert that list into email format. So we're going to use the transform array into string. We're going to follow the same pattern over here. And then we're going to send an individual email to ourselves. That way we kind of have a report of what was the update that we did and who did it go out to. So then I can just follow up with it, see what I need to change as well. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole walkthrough of it. The other aspect is just for projects, I would start from editing this first. So make sure you edit all of the information so it matches your company's offerings or services. That way, your AI agent that's referencing that project will know everything it needs to know. This one is about Taskade, but you would just replace it with your company information instead. And yeah, that's pretty much all I had for today. And I think we can just do Q&A. I know that was a lot, but make sure you refer back to this recording. And yeah, I'm going to stop my share right now. And I'm going to open it up to questions for like the next 15 minutes. Let's see. You guys need the rain, so that's great. Yeah, we definitely did need the rain in Cali. Hey. Hello, Mark. No, actually, first a comment, definitely. Is there a trick to getting the automation to transfer with the kit? For some reason, I can never find the automations. Mm, I think it should be transferring over properly. If it isn't, that doesn't sound right. Reach out to support@taskade.com. But yeah, it should be downloading it automatically for you. That shouldn't be happening. So I'm very curious as to why that happens. And then let's see. Hola, fam. Hola. Let's see. I am currently building a website that promote and sell affiliate products. Is it possible to build a link tracking project or kit? If so, can you please give me a brief example? This is just like workflow specific use case. Um, Honestly, the thing about kits is like it really depends on how in depth you want to go. So if you really want to like doing a kit like the one I just showed you took hours. But that's only because like it's still there are some nuances and stuff to it, and I had to build that from scratch. But if you already have like your workflow in mind, you already kind of know what you want. and you've already kind of built it, it's very easy to actually kind of go with that. But for example, a kit like this, I'm currently building a website that promotes and sells affiliate products. Is it possible to build a link tracking project or kit? It's like it really just depends. Tracks okay. Track sells. Mm, uh, it's doable. Track clicks, track sells, track clicks. Yeah, I think it's doable. I would have to like mess around with it a bit. I'm trying to think of how I would do something like that. I'd probably do something like let me see if I could actually share screen. Okay. Let me see if I could actually do something similar to it. Yeah, I think like the same way that I have like leads over here, you can just have each one of these just be like specific affiliate links. And then one of the other things that I would probably do is I would automate some of these fields over here. So I would probably have using yeah, let's see, using UTMs. Yeah, I think it's a very interesting use case. Kind of kind of drawing a bit of a blank, which is a bit of a first. But yeah, I would probably have like individual links over here that are tracking each one. And then what you can actually do is if you have the data from other places, you can fetch it and populate these fields. So for example, if I have an automation right here, I'll add automation. You can have it where schedule, we could say like every hour, send like an HTTP request to wherever those links are being tracked for your affiliate portal. And then afterwards you can do something like update custom fields. Where are you? There we go. And then from here, oops, I would choose that project. And yeah, I would just like let's say if it was something like use case, whatever it is, then I would just add the response from the HTTP request. And then that would like automatically update that field so you know how many clicks are going every hour, like changing it up and stuff. So that's one way that I would probably track clicks and kind of build like an analytics dashboard where it's basically polling every hour. But yeah, I think like it really just depends on how complex you want to go with it. But you would basically set up a few of these and you can just update all those custom fields and you kind of have your own analytics dashboard in a sense. I'm gonna delete this. Okay. Can you set up a simple automation that will search Gmail for keywords and create tasks based on the emails where the keyword is displayed with a summary? That is interesting. I think so. Let me. Oh, okay. Thanks. I'm going to play around with. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, that would be awesome. Let me know how it goes. So, okay, I'm gonna go back to this one. Can you set up a simple automation that will search Gmail for keywords and create tasks based on the emails where the keyword is displayed with a summary use case to follow? The use case is I get lots of emails from different customers regarding the same keyword. Let's say Jack. I need to summarize the communication so that I can weed through the details I have received. So I believe you can do this actually. And the way we would do it is if I do just create a new one, start from scratch. Um, the trigger, I would probably do it where it's like every hour. You can do it every hour, but you can also just have it as if I delete this, you can have it where it's like new email. So triggering with every email. And then you can basically say filter through it. So like Ask AI or Ask Agent actually. So let's say if I had like an analysis agent or whatever it is, you can basically say, does this email contain specific keywords? And then you would have it like search the email body. And if it does, I think we could do a Boolean actually. Actually, I haven't used a Boolean yet, but yeah. So I'm gonna close that actually. I'll just do like text and I'll say like whatever keywords I would have here. I would say, oops, contains word, or I would say like analysis. And if it does, you can say only continue if analysis contains yes. So like yeah, so you can basically go through something like this and then afterwards based on that add tasks essentially to your project. But the other way around it is essentially you can do something like scheduling for every hour and you can ask, we're not going to do that. We're going to say find emails, and it's going to return the first 100 matching emails as an array. To continue, and you can basically say, mm, if the subject contains certain content, then you could look through that. So if the subject contains, let's say, like Jack, then what you can do is you can loop through. So I can loop through. Honestly, I could even just remove this too. I don't need this identifier, but I can if I really want to. But I can remove it, and then afterwards I can just loop through all of those automations, and I could say for each one of those, I can ask an agent to review the email body, and then again give structured output. If it's yes, email contains keywords, then I want you to branch. And then it's like if it contains those keywords, then do this, or else by default don't add it, skip it, whatever it is. So that's basically the way I would go about it. I know that was like very difficult to kind of like follow a little bit. But the idea is that you have multiple ways of doing it. You can do it for every single email that's ever triggered. But if you're trying to go through previous emails as well, you would have to add task. Um, but the only issue is it's like it might have overlap with some of these things. So you would have to make sure like you should only continue here if that email doesn't exist in the project already. So maybe attaching the email message ID and then afterwards from there going through with that too. So for example, if I do find tasks in let's say this leads project, like continue or whatever, like you would have to identify and make sure that this email that is being received is already doesn't already exist as a task in another project. So the way you would probably do that is actually looking at whether there's an email ID attached in as a custom field to that task as well. If it already has it, then you would say if these two match. So you would have a custom field. Like right now, this says email address, but let's say you had another one that had like email ID. So you would store it. And then if you find anything over here, then that means you basically shouldn't continue with this. So it shouldn't add it. So it's going to take some tweaking and some stuff for you to kind of get around with it. Yeah. I know that was like pretty long winded. But yeah, let's see. Not kits or automation related. Any plans for proper homepage that will show holistic view? Yeah, that's something that we're actually looking into as well. We do have plans for it. I don't know exactly where it would be as far as like the list of priorities, but yeah, like when you say a homepage, are you what sort of functionality are you looking for specifically? And also feel free to leave feedback here, taskade.com/feedback. The team does review and look at these. So yeah. Ability to add notes or text. I think most of the old templates are unusable, like journal, etc. Um, I think most of the. I think I'm a little bit confused about this one. So yeah, let me know. Leave feedback here, and then you can also do feature requests and stuff there too. With taskade.com/feedback, the team reviews it and they try to manage it as much as they can. And then do you have Central Kits store categorized and ready to pick and choose for me and my clients? Yeah, this is something that we're looking into. We're actually in the process of building out like a central area or repository for kits. That way you kind of can just download it and get started right off the bat. So it's something that we're going to be working on even more. Okay, I think I'm following. Yeah, it's a bit of a hectic workaround, but basically every hour, find emails in Gmail, loop through it, and then if loop through it, ask an agent to basically see if the email contains specific keywords. If it does, run through this flow. And then before you add it, you have to make sure, well, did that email already exist as a pre existing ad? If it does, then ignore it. So it's a bit of a convoluted way of going about it. But honestly, there might be a way to improve that use case. So one thing that you could do is also post your use case here. So post your use case here as well. And it'll help the team understand a bit more about what you're trying to do too. So yeah. Okay. That was pretty much all I had on my end. Are there any more questions? Oi. Mm, yeah. If you wanted to follow along, just wanted to say this is the bundle for it. Let me see if I have it. Yeah, fire, flame. Yeah, I agree, Fosren. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it on my end. Oh, let's go. Last one. Another quick question. Is there a way to have one workspace share resources for with another? For example, I want to build a workspace for product tracking, another for website leads or forms. Um, if they're all in one folder, it's doable. If it's not, then it's kind of harder for it to share resources. So, for example, I'll just show you this right now. Okay. So everyone can see my screen, right? Yep. I'm gonna go back here. We'll leave. I'm gonna delete this. I always want to keep everything clean, you know? Okay. So if everything's in like the sales section, it's easier to share resources because they're all separated collections. And these are called folders, but I like to think of them as kind of like teams because it's much easier. It implies that it's like separated off from one another in a sense. But anyway, so from here, if you want to separate certain projects, what you can do is you can use workspace tags. So I can add a tag and call this, let's say, leads or project leads, whatever it is, attach that lead. And then now I can filter this workspace by that specific tag. So that's one way you can kind of treat it like folders within a workspace to kind of have that segmentation within your like folders or workspace. I hope that made sense. But yeah, that's how I would do it. Another way is also like I've seen this done a couple times actually. Let me just start from scratch, new list. You kind of have like a master project, and then from here, if you do at, you can connect other projects, and this allows you to kind of like add everything that you really want in one place and then manage it like so. So then you can just open up this project and just go through that one. But yeah, I think that was pretty much it on my end. I hope that answered all your questions. And yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing. Let's see. Okay, I'll try it. Yeah, for sure. And let us know how that goes. Yeah, I'm gonna head off now and I will see you guys later. Good luck, everyone. Stay safe. It's cold outside, so stay warm. Speaking of, make sure to drink water too. Stay hydrated always. And yeah, I will see you guys later.